You're listening to TurkishSoccer.com's Turkish Football Podcast. Hello, everyone. My name is Ahmet Turgut. Welcome to a brand new edition of Turkish Football and Turkish Super Lig Podcast. In this podcast, as you know, the Turkish Super Lig comes to end this weekend. The last dance will be happening starting on Friday. It'll end on Sunday. But there's a couple of games I want to talk about this weekend. But looking at week 37 last weekend, there was actually only a couple games that was important. That was for relegation zone, also the third place race between Samsunspor and Beşiktaş. But as you probably listened to my last podcast, 2024-2025 season champions in Turkey in the Turkish Super Lig is Galatasaray. So Galatasaray captured the title, and this past weekend and week, they've been celebrating every day. And especially the celebrations in Yenikapı lasted all day and all night. There were like 700,000 Galatasaray fans were celebrating with the team. With a bunch of singers came in, but I think the rain did the damage, and it was going good until the rain showed up at dark hours. I think, if you ask me, the celebrations were good, but I think it was a little bit long. There was a lot of problems with the players not showing up. So overall, but I think the scenes in Yenikapı in Istanbul with Galatasaray fans celebrating the 25th title in the Turkish Super Lig, and back-to-back. This is the third time they captured the title under Coach Okan Buruk. We talked about that in last week's podcast. I don't want to go through again. And Galatasaray will represent Turkey in the Champions League groups. They will not play any playoff matches. They will go straightly to the Champions League groups. They have a lot of time. They need to get some players. As we speak on this weekend, the greatest goalie came to Galatasaray at the age 20 years old. Fernando Muslera will play his last match this Saturday in front of Galatasaray fans. I'm sure it will be a full house. In the ceremonies, and also there was other couple places that he gave interview, and he did cry along with Merten. Merten also will leave the team. So Galatasaray next season will not have Muslera and Merten. Muslera, 14 years with Galatasaray, 8 Turkish Super title and 19 trophies. And he's probably one of the best goalkeepers. Came to Galatasaray from Uruguay. Actually, he played in Italy and came to Galatasaray. He's been in Turkey for the last 14 years. He has won pretty much every cup, every trophy, every title. Like I said, this was his 8th title win in 14 years. Quite accomplishment. Turkish football fans and Galatasaray fans will miss Muslera. Good luck to his in the next future, his life. And I think with a family, when he came to Turkey, he was single, he got married, got 3 kids, and he's going back to Uruguay. And good luck to him in the next chapter of his life. Also, another great player, Mertens, also will be leaving Galatasaray. He was sensational for 3 years. He did a lot of help for Galatasaray team. So these two, and along with Osman, who came on loan, we talked about him in the last podcast. Osman, pretty much, he will not be with the team next year. I could say 90% right now that he will not be with Galatasaray. So after losing these 3 important names, and Icardi's coming back, what kind of shape he will be in the beginning of the season, because you got Champions League matches coming up right up after the Turkish Super League opens up in August. So Galatasaray has to replace these players with a very good players. Otherwise, it will be a disaster for them, like it happened this past season in the European competitions. First, it was in the Champions League matches, and then also in the Europa League. So again, congratulations to Galatasaray. And Muslera will be missed. Mertens will be missed. Osman, the leading goal scorer this past season, with 25 goals. I'm sure he will score goals on Saturday against Başakşehir. One other little note that I want to give you: when Muslera came to Turkey, his first match was against 14 years ago against Başakşehir, and he's ending his career in Turkey playing against Başakşehir again on Saturday. What a coincidence. So that is the headline for my monologue opening this podcast. Also, we'll talk about the third place race. What happened between Beşiktaş and Samsun, disaster Beşiktaş. I'm going to talk about that Beşiktaş team. And then relegation zone already completed. There are 4 teams going down, and there will be 3 teams replacing them. There will be 18 teams in the next season playing in the Turkish Super League. So after Hatayspor, Adana Demirspor, and Sivasspor, this past weekend, Bodrumspor already said goodbye to Turkish Super League. So again, Adana Demirspor, Hatayspor, Sivasspor, and Bodrumspor will not be in the Turkish Super League next season. The newcomers, Kocaelispor, Gençler Birliği, and today, after beating Bandırmaspor in overtime goals, Fatih Karagümrük, the team that was in the Turkish Super League last season, they're back. They're back, but they don't have any stadium to play. I hope These are the teams, especially Fatih Karagümrük, doesn't have much fan base, also don't have a stadium for themselves. So Fatih Karagümrük officials should find a steady home field for them to play next season. This should be a number one issue for them. And I think, if you ask me, Turkish Football Federation should make them get a stadium for their home games. So, and we'll talk about the Turkish national team in the closing. As you know, after the weekends, this weekend coming up, and then Turkish national team will travel overseas. They will come to USA. We'll talk about that. Now, the third place race in the week 37, it was between Beşiktaş and Samsunspor. Samsunspor won their match at home, and as far as the Beşiktaş lost at home in front of their own fans, 2-1 to Rizespor, and they had probably the third place in their hand. They just gave it to Samsunspor. I don't know what's wrong with Beşiktaş, but you could hear me saying this all season long. I talked about Beşiktaş enough. They are in chaos. They are in chaos financially. They are in chaos with these bunch of loser players. Excuse my French, but I think they're a bunch of losers. Except 3 or 4 players. These guys don't show any heart on that pitch. We saw that this past weekend when they played against Rizespor. And I really don't care if the Beşiktaş makes it third place or fourth place, because the team that Beşiktaş has right now, they are worthless. Beşiktaş officials has to do a lot of search to build brand new team. And probably the chaos team of this season was Beşiktaş. They are Galatasaray with 92 points and Beşiktaş with 59 points. More than 30 points behind the first place. In the Beşiktaş history, you've never seen this kind of gap on top. That goes with Fenerbahçe too. Fenerbahçe, after losing to a last place team, actually the relegation zone team, Hatayspor in Merten, 4-2. Now, the gap between them raised up. Galatasaray with 92 points, Fenerbahçe with 81, 11 points difference now. And third place race will be decided this weekend. When this weekend there's only 2 important matches. It's going to be between Samsun, and Samsun will be at home against Kayseri. All they need is a point to capture or tie or win. But Beşiktaş is going away to face the team who's just dropped down a lower division this past weekend, Bodrumspor. Beşiktaş hoping they will win this match, and will hope Samsunspor to lose against Kayserispor. With a win, it is going to be up the air, but I think they have to pray Samsunspor could lose this match at home against Kayseri, so they could claim the third place. Anyway, the third place, fourth place, and fifth place teams, third place and fourth place will play in the Europa League, and the fifth place team, who is Başakşehir, will play in the Conference League. Fenerbahçe will try to get to a Champions League with the playoff matches. So they have at least a couple matches before they get to Champions League match. So week 37, actually week 38 will start this Friday, which is today. And there are 3 matches, and the champions will be at home. Galatasaray will be at home against Başakşehir. And as I told you, this will be a last match for Mertens and probably for Osimhen and Fernando Muslera. Other matches on Friday, Kasımpaşa will be at home against Göztepe, and Antalya will host Trabzonspor. Saturday matches, the only 2 important matches, as I told you before, between Samsunspor and Kayseri, and Bodrumspor, Başakşehir. The other matches are meaningless. It's just to play the full 90 minutes. Fenerbahçe will host Konyaspor. Rizespor will be at home against Hatay. Alanya will be at home against Sivas. Adana Demirspor at home against Gaziantep. So Eyüpspor will have a bye. Turkish national team, after the Turkish Super League ends, meets in Istanbul, and they will travel to Boston on June 2nd, on Monday. They will be in Boston, and late Monday night or early Tuesday morning. We'll talk about this in my last podcast. They will play their first match on June 7th against U.S. national team. Then June 10th in North Carolina, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. They will face Mexico, and I will be at USA Turkey match. We'll do a podcast interviews from there. We'll talk about in my next podcast more about this Turkish national team visiting United States. My name's Ahmet Bob Turgut. Listen to my podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. See you next time. Bye-bye.